Hi everyone, this is Manoj from Informatica GCS. In this video, we'll be covering installation of Product 360. The agenda for this video includes setting of Elasticsearch, ActiveMQ and MySQL database, which are like dependency products for P360 installation. And after all these products are installed, we'll finally go with installation of Product 360. First, before that, we'll look into what are the files or softwares required for this installation. First thing, Elasticsearch and ActiveMQ and PIM binary files, license files of P360, Java, Microsoft SQL Server Edition and SSMS, and other files include 7-zip and Notepad++. First, we'll look into setting up of our SQL Server. Once the SQL Server is installed, first we need to enable a SQL user, which is by default SA user. We'll enable this SA user and set passwords and enable login permissions. After enabling those, we'll enable SQL Server to login with SQL users. We'll give you a view during the demo session. Once this user level authentications are done in SQL, we have to enable TCP IP communications to SQL Server because P360 uses TCP IP communication to connect with SQL servers. After this enabling of TCP IP communication is done, we have to perform restart of SQL Server, which can be done through services in Windows. Once SQL Server is done, the next part is to fix the environment variable for Java because P360 runs on Java. We'll configure this environment variable by extracting the Java 17 version and placing it in C drive or other preferred locations. After that, we'll create a variable under system variables with name as Java Home. This Java Home is very important because it is internally being used by P360 to find the path for Java. Add this Java Home as shown in the below image. Once adding it, add it to the path variable entry, which we'll be discussing in the demo. Now we'll look into the installation of Elasticsearch. Before moving it into installation, for any P360, please look into PAM or product availability matrix to confirm the Elasticsearch version and install the respective versions. Once the Elasticsearch is installed, it can be started up in two different ways, either in a terminal way or it can be installed as a Windows service to run it in a background. First, we'll look into it how to run as a terminal. Navigate to the bin folder of this Elasticsearch, for example as the path shown here, and open it in a command prompt and type elasticsearch.bat. Once you press enter, the Elasticsearch server will start in a command prompt way. If you don't want it to be done in command prompt, you can install it as a Windows service, which can be done from the same folder by running elasticsearch service.bat followed by install. Once you press enter, Elasticsearch will be installed as a Windows service. And next we'll look into the other dependent component called ActiveMQ, which is a message queue used by P360 for routing messages. Same like Elasticsearch, this ActiveMQ can be installed in two different ways as terminal and Windows service. To install it as a terminal, navigate to the Win64 folder as shown in the example path and run activemq.bat file, which will start the ActiveMQ server through Windows command prompt. And if you want to again install it as a Windows service, find install service.bat file and run it in the same command, which makes it to be installed as Windows service. Once all these dependent components like MS SQL, Elasticsearch and ActiveMQ are installed, we'll go with installation of our PIM core. Before going with installation, once the binary files are downloaded, we'll have to extract 4 files for which I will be showing in the demo. Once those 4 files are extracted, we'll make changes in a particular file called server.properties file, which will be given as the default name as server.properties.template.mssql or Oracle. Depending on your database side, you can choose either MS SQL or Oracle. With our installation, we'll be going with MS SQL. First, locate this file and rename it to server.properties. Once this file is renamed, open it in a Notepad++ or any other text editor as your preference, and I will make certain changes which the overview as given below. First, you will set up server name and the shared directory path to be used by our P360, and some configurations related to ActiveMQ and license files, and other configurations are related to Elasticsearch and database. We'll go into a demo and we'll show you how to make these changes. Once these changes are done, we'll run our database.exe file to set up our MS SQL database for P360. Locate and run database.exe file. It will ask you to upload the server.properties file which you have just modified. Upload those files and it will execute the scripts at the MySQL server side. And the final thing after making all these setups is to start the server and the client. Either the server can be started as a Windows service or through terminal. If you want to start it through terminal, you can navigate to console.cmd file and run it. Or to set up it as a service, you have to run install.cmd file in the same folder of server. Once the server starts and up and running, run the pim desktop.exe file in the client folder to open pimrich client.xml file. Now we'll look into the demo of installing our product 360. First, we'll go with our database side configuration. Once you open your SSMS, by default you will be having this. First, enable Windows authentication mode and connect. Open security, logins, click on properties of SA, set the password as required and go into status. By default login will be disabled. Please enable login and click OK. Now move to the MS SQL server and click the properties of it. Navigate to security tab. By default it will only allow you to authenticate through Windows mode. Now you have to make it to SQL server and Windows authentication mode. After selecting this, please click OK. Once this is done, we'll go into enabling TCP IP communications. Once the SQL server configuration manager is open, click on this SQL server network configurations protocol for MS SQL. By default this will be disabled. Double click on it, enable, click OK. After this, navigate to services page and restart the MS SQL service to make these changes permanent. After setting up of MS SQL, we'll run our Elasticsearch. Go to this path, enter cmd, type elasticsearch.bat. Now Elasticsearch is starting. We'll go to ActiveMQ and we'll start both ActiveMQ. open this path in CMD, type ActiveMQ dot bad. Now we'll see that both ActiveMQ and Elasticsearch is started. Now we'll look into configuring our environment variables. Open this environment variable and enter, click on new, enter Java home and the path for Java. After this, move to this path variable, click create new and paste the Java path and press OK. Now we'll move into the PIM binary files. Once these binary files are present, you will extract 4 files as I said. The 4 files are marked as shown here. Please extract those 4 files. Once you extract them, they will be present as client, DB client and reported. We'll move into the server, configuration, HPM, and you will find server.properties.template.mssql. Rename it to server.properties file. Once renamed, open it in Notepad++. First, we'll change the system name. Next, we'll configure the shared server path for our P360. After this, we'll move to ActiveMQ. Make sure the default URL is provided and configure username and password for ActiveMQ. After this, we'll configure license settings by sharing the license path and the customer key. Once this is done, we'll move to Elasticsearch. Make sure the default URL is pointing to 9200 port. After this, based on your need, please enable or disable this Elasticsearch by setting it to true or false. If you are setting it to true, make sure the mode is in production or clean state. If this enabled is false, make sure it is disabled. Now with the DB site, and enter the default user SSA and give the entered credentials and set the shared path for database. If needed, prefix the databases with required name. Get to DB client and run this database.exe file. Please select the relevant server.properties file and click proceed. Confirm the shared path and the schema names. After that, click proceed setup. Once it is done, you will see 3 different databases created for P360. After that, run console.cmd file, which will make the server start. Once the server gets started, open client, run pimdesktop.exe. That's it for the demo. We would love to hear feedback from you. Please reach us on supportvideos@informatica.com or through x/infasupport. Thank you.